Welcome back to the class, children. In today's class, we are going to discuss about two concepts. One is lethal alleles, another one is pleiotropism. Let us enter into the class. The first concept is lethal alleles. In the previous class, we have discussed about the different types of gene interactions. We have discussed about the codominance, incomplete dominance, all those things. Right? As a continuation, now we are going to discuss about lethal alleles. So the definition of lethal alleles goes like this. So an allele that has the potential to cause the death of an organism is called as lethal allele. We have already discussed many times, each and every character is controlled by a particular gene, and the gene has alternate forms, what we call it as alleles. So whatever the character may be, every character is controlled by gene, because gene contains the information regarding that particular phenotype character. Right? For example, imagine there is a gene called as X. That X is responsible for producing the chlorophyll. Right? Then the chlorophyll is responsible for the photosynthetic activity of plants, and because of the photosynthetic activity of the plants, the starch is produced and the plant can able to survive. If there is any modification in that particular X gene, then all these functions, that is the production of chlorophyll, then photosynthetic activity, then the production of starch, and the survival of the plant, everything becomes a question mark. So a modification in that particular gene or the allele leads to the death of the organism, right? And those modified allele which brings the death of the organism, or those modifications which are taking place in the allele that reduces the viability of an organism, and those alleles are called as lethal alleles. So if there is any modification or if there is any mutation in a particular allele that reduces the viability of an organism or that reduces the longevity of an organism, then that allele is said to be a lethal allele. So that is the definition for lethal allele, and lethal allele is the one that has the potential to reduce the viability or the longevity of an organism. And the lethal alleles may be either recessive or it may be dominant. But in most of the cases, lethal genes or lethal alleles are recessive in nature. In plants, Erwin Bohr, he was a German geneticist, and he in the year 1907 described the lethal alleles in a plant called as Antirrhinum species. Right? Antirrhinum species is commonly called as snapdragon. Right? One of the species of Antirrhinum is Antirrhinum majus. So in that plant he noticed the presence of lethal alleles. Let us discuss how. So in Antirrhinum, there are three different types of plants. So there is a plant called as Antirrhinum majus, which is a normal plant possessing the green colored leaves. Right? This is a normal plant. So since it is a normal plant, it has the chlorophyll, and this is the chlorophyll producing gene, which is the dominant form, and it is denoted by the alphabets capital CC. Right? So this is a normal plant, no problem. Right? So this plant, in this gene, due to course of evolution or due to course of time, there occurs certain modification. Right? As a result, due to course of time, there occurs another type of plant. Right? Here if you notice this genotype, we can able to see, and this allele is a modified allele. Some mutation has taken place and a recessive form is obtained. Right? But another allele is a normal allele, right? Chlorophyll producing allele. Now, a plant possessing this genotype produces a yellow colored leaves, right? Carotenoid pigment containing leaves, or the golden leaved plants. Here now the plant is said to be a Antirrhinum aurea. This is a new species which is derived from the Antirrhinum major species, right? It is a modified form. So this is the species, what we call it as Antirrhinum aurea. Aurea means, aurum means gold, right? So we know aurum in chemistry, aurum means gold. So since they possess the golden colored leaves, they are called as Antirrhinum aurea. So because that golden nature, the golden color is due to the presence of carotenoid pigments, right? And Erwin Bohr, he crossed these two plants, right? So the golden leaved plants, two Antirrhinum aurea plants were crossed, and the cross goes like this. So this is the genotype of Antirrhinum aurea, and this is another genotype of this is the genotype of another Antirrhinum aurea. So both are Antirrhinum aurea plants, and they were crossed, right? So as a result of this cross, we can able to get three different types of plants. One is the normal plant. So we have already discussed about the monohybrid cross. The same concept can be applied here, right? So here we can able to get the normal green colored plant, which is the original type, right? And also we can able to get the Antirrhinum aurea plant, so which is two in number, right? So two Antirrhinum aurea plant and one green colored original Antirrhinum majus plant, and one more type, a pure recessive plant, is also obtained, right? But this plant does not contain any sort of chlorophyll pigment, right? So this plant, the seedlings, this plant was destroyed, or this plant cannot able to survive, right? Up to the seedling level only it can able to survive, because this plant, the recessive gene containing plant, cannot able to synthesize the chlorophyll. Hence this plant totally get removed from the scenario, right? So this plant cannot able to survive. So why this plant cannot able to survive? Because of the presence of the both recessive allele, right? So this, the mutant allele or the modified allele. So this abnormal allele fails to synthesize the chlorophyll, and as a result the plant cannot able to do the photosynthesis, and this plant dies in the seedling level itself, right? Whereas the remaining plants, the Antirrhinum aurea can able to survive, because it also has one dominant C, the chlorophyll producing gene. Even though it has a mutant allele, it acts as a carrier. So this can able to survive. Whereas this one, so it is obvious this is a green color plant, so it will normally survive. So out of these three, it comes as the ratio 1:2:1. But the last one, the non-chlorophyllous plant, will be eliminated, or it cannot able to survive. So the ratio comes as 1:2 or 2:1. That is 1 normal green plant and 2 aurea plant, or 2 aurea plant is to 1 normal green plant, right? So here the lethality is due to the homozygous recessive condition. That is why it is said to be a recessive lethality. If the same thing happens because of the presence of homozygous dominant condition, then it is said to be a dominant lethality. But here the lethality is caused because of the recessive condition of the alleles. That is why here we call it as a recessive lethality in Snapdragon. So this is the conclusion which was made by Erwin Bohr, and the ratio of lethal alleles in Snapdragon is 1:2 or 2:1. That is 2 folds of Antirrhinum aurea and 1 fold of Antirrhinum majus green plant, right? The next concept is pleiotropism, right? So pleiotropism, this can be understood easily, right? So look at the definition. A phenomenon where one gene influences more than one phenotype in an organism, right? Here a single gene has the control over different traits, right? So that particular gene has role in controlling the different phenotypes, like how a father in a family controls most of the activities of a family, right? So he is the one who has to sign the checkbook, he is the one who will pay the rent of the house, and he is the one who controls all the other activities of the family, right? So likewise, a single gene has the impact, or a single gene which has the ability to control or influence more than one phenotype in an organism is what we call it as pleiotropism, right? So pleo means many or more, tropism means way. So in many ways or in different ways a particular gene can able to affect a phenotype of different phenotypes, right? So this is a gene that exhibits a multiple phenotypic expression, right? So that is what we call it as pleiotropism. So a single gene, so affecting many traits. So trait 1, trait 2, trait 3, trait 4, trait 5, trait 6. So this particular gene is affecting 6 different traits. So that is what we call it as pleiotropism. In Mendel, while performing his experiments, he has noticed that 3 phenotypic characters are controlled by a single gene, right? So according to him, according to his study, the purple color of the flower, the brown seeds, and the dark spots present on the leaf axils, all the 3 characters, all the 3 triads are controlled by a single gene. So this was his discovery, and he noticed all these 3 characters are controlled by a single gene, right? So this was the discovery, pleiotropic. This was the discovery made by Mendel regarding the pleiotropic condition, right? Yes, children, in today's class we have discussed about lethal alleles and pleiotropism. Pleiotropism can be asked as a 2-mark question, whereas lethal alleles can be asked as a 5-mark question. The ratio for the lethal alleles 2:1 can be asked as a 1-mark question. Hope this session will be a useful one. Let us meet in the next episode. Thank you.